Hello, let's talk about the different conferences between the big three, the Grand Alliance during World War II. And these three countries, as stated previously, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the USSR. Now, first conference we're going to be talking about is the Tehran Conference, happening in Tehran, Iran. This is going to be happening November 28th, 1943 through December 1st, 1943. In this conference, we're going to have a lot of different things we're going to be discussing, and one of the first things we're going to discuss is what do they do with Germany after World War II. It's looking increasingly likely at this time that the Allies are going to win the war. This is after Stalingrad, so the Soviets are now advancing and pushing back the Germans on the east. The British and the Americans are getting ready to push the Germans back on the west. So they're going to talk about what do we do with Germany? Do we learn the lessons from the Treaty of Versailles? Remember, the Treaty of Versailles placed intense blame on the Germans as a result of starting World War I. That's going to lead to a number of economic problems. They're going to lose land, which then Hitler is going to come in and restructure their economy, so they're going to be making money again, take back that land, and remilitarize their country, which was taken from them. That military was taken from them as a result of the Treaty of Versailles. So we learn the lessons from the Treaty of Versailles. They're going to require an unconditional surrender for Germany. The Nazis will surrender on no conditions at all. It is an unconditional surrender, which is basically a way of saying that you will get nothing from this. We will defeat you. You will get nothing. You will gain nothing. Your government and your country, as you are establishing it, will be destroyed. This was crucial. This was something that all three sides were adamant about, an unconditional surrender for Germany. The date was going to be set for the Second Front. So as already stated, the Soviets are pushing the Germans back from the east after Stalingrad. They're going to be pushing them back, and they're really making fairly good progress at this point. They're going to set a date for a second invasion on the Western Front. This is going to be starting with D-Day. They're going to set a date for the second invasion by the British, the Americans, and also the Canadians are going to get involved. And once France is liberated, the French will be involved as well. They're going to agree to recognize the independence of Iran after the war. Now, previously, Iran would have been occupied by the British. During this time period as well, the Soviets are going to kind of move down, primarily because they want a say in the oil revenue coming out of Iran. They're going to agree that after the war, Iran will become an independent country. I'll talk about that, what's going to happen with that, a little bit later on. Now, the first issue we're going to be discussing in depth is Poland. As stated in the previous video, Stalin wants a buffer zone. Stalin does not trust the West, even though they're working together to kind of defeat the common enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's kind of the idea behind this whole Grand Alliance. Stalin wants the buffer zone, and he would like Poland to be a part of his buffer zone. He is going to demand that the territory he gained from Poland in 1939 as a part of that treaty that he made, the Ribbentrop-Molotov Mutual Non-Aggression Pact, the Soviet-Nazi treaty, he's going to demand that he gets that territory. He also wants to have a pro-Soviet government in Poland, which is a way of kind of making sure that he's going to have that buffer zone that Stalin desperately wants. As a result of this, he's going to be arguing that the USSR is going to get that land gained in 1939, as you can see right through here. Okay, December 28th, you've got the Nazis in Western Poland, the Soviets in Eastern Poland. Again, part of that Soviet-Nazi treaty in 1939, Stalin is saying that he should get that land in Poland, and that's going to be an extension of the USSR. Poland is going to then get land from Germany. So basically, we're just going to move the entire Polish border. Poland will be the same size, but instead of having their land close to the USSR, we're just going to move that land farther over into Germany. So Germany will lose some land, but Poland won't really lose any land in the end. When it comes to Eastern Europe, Soviets are going to demand that they get the territories they gained in 1939. During this time, Stalin did not trust Hitler at all. Although he's going to sign a non-aggression pact with Hitler for Poland, Stalin does not trust Hitler. And this is primarily because he had read Mein Kampf. He saw what Hitler did when he came with his purge, which actually kind of it gave Stalin the idea for his own purge. And Hitler, or he's also going to be reading, when he reads Mein Kampf, he's going to realize that Hitler hates communists, and he believes that Hitler is ultimately going to turn on him. As a result of this, he is going to establish a buffer zone to protect the Soviet Union. This is why he's going to invade Poland. This is why he's going to invade the Baltic states of Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania right through here. He's going to demand that he should be able to keep these as a part of the USSR. This is also going to be why Stalin will ultimately invade Finland, and he's going to demand that this territory be given to the USSR after the war as well. Romania is another one who's going to invade. He's going to demand that this territory be given to the USSR after the war. The US is going to initially agree to this, even though that this is going to be in direct violation of the Atlantic Charter, which talked about protecting the sovereignty of these individual nations. The United States is going to agree to give Stalin these territories right through here. When it comes to Japan, this is going to be a big issue. The United States and the United Kingdom, who are working together really closely, they have very similar ideals, are going to agree to help the Soviet, or that the Soviet Union should come and help when it comes to an attack on Japan. The United States is doing fairly well when it comes to defeating the Japanese in the Pacific. However, they would like some additional help, will make the war end much quicker. Stalin refuses. He refuses to help with the Japanese until Germany is beat. This is for a number of reasons. Number one, Germany provides a major threat to the USSR. Number two, there is a history between the USSR and the Germans. Number three, Germany had occupied his territory in his country for 2 years. Roughly a third of the Soviet Union had been occupied by the Germans. Stalin wants the Germans beat before he even looks at another enemy at all. The key points coming out of the Tehran conference, number one, is a weak post-war Germany. Germany will be reestablished, but Germany will be established as weak. Additionally, we're going to create the United Nations. This was the brainchild of the United States, kind of going off of the failed League of Nations, which is going to be an organization of countries, international organization, and they're going to use this to establish collective security around the globe. That is all for the Tehran conference. Questions, comments, put them down below. See you later.